My name is Nullamore, which translates to unlovable in a very erratic sort of way. And this. Did I already say Journey Through Miro? I didn't say that already.
No, you didn't.
Okay. This is Journey Through Miro. I'm having memory issues, I guess. And these are my boys. Say hello, boys.
Hello, boys.
Hello, boys.
Konnichiwa, boyos.
And they are now going to introduce themselves.
Hello, I'm the Miro Nostalgia Critic. I sort of rewatch it, so you sort of don't have to. I'm Steven the Stool. I'm Steven the Stool. I play Yip Yip Note Sale. I also have my own game, The Tomes of Time.
Nice. I am. Yes. Well, Dale, you first.
No, you go first, Jeremiah. I'll go to the back of the bus this time.
Hey, I heard it's pretty awesome back there. Anyway, my name is The Black Doctor. You can find me on TikTok at The Black Doctor. But here on Journey Through Miro, I play Balgroth the Dark, Paladin of Vengeance, bringer of violence and bringer of destruction. But also somehow the dad of the group. Even though my child is dead.
Ooh.
You're an unborn child.
Balgroth, you were a father, but your child is dead.
Yeah, I play Balgroth. I also play Donatello on the Tomes of Time.
Nice. I am.
Yes.
You're just going to skip me? Is that cool?
I thought you wouldn't.
Yeah, no, I understand why you would, because that would have been the order, but no, we going counterclockwise today. All right, so yes, I am at Dale Jitsu on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram in that order. Most forgettable person in the group. Also the only one that didn't get murked by some changelings. Yeah, it's often discussed in parties, who's the most powerful. I think that's a very, unhelpful discussion, but I will say I'm easily top 2, and I'm not number 2. Isaiah Yeager, Magus extraordinaire. Hello, everyone.
Sometimes I still hear his voice.
Yeah.
Quit telling everyone!
Because I'm in the box!
Who wants to give me a recap of the last episode?
We...
Steven,
Tiny
tag
Tim,
me in.
Tiny Tim, who was not dead. Was the last one the one where we broke out, or was that the one before that?
Yeah, it's the one where we broke out. It's also the one where we basically went into the mirror world.
Okay, right. We broke out. We went into, I think, the school proper. And we discovered a mirror room. Oh, right. Where we kind of all got, or mostly got pulled into, and Yip Yap saw horrible things that made him sad.
Yeah, didn't you see your god, which made you go horribly violent for like half a minute?
A pale in impression.
Right. That is a inspiration for you. Jeremiah, I'll give you an inspiration if you can remember what the riddle was last session.
When is a door not a door?
Very good.
Is the answer when it's a jar?
I thought the riddle.
Oh my god!
I thought the riddle was going to be Tom. Anyways,
we had enough of this foolery.
My goodness.
Isaiah, I'll give you an inspiration if you can remember the name that Flogant told you of the other deity.
Zek. How are we spelling this?
I spelled it Zchek, but honestly, as long as you pronounce it correctly, I don't care how you write it in your notes.
The check.
Mm,
also known as.
You say with the phlegm.
it's in the accent.
Got to get the phlegm in there.
It's in the accent.
You see an indescribable horror. Here, let me describe it for you in great detail.
Yes.
Who are you, Lovecraft?
It was
You know, that's
formless
like,
with its broad shoulders and its scaled exterior.
indescribable is one of those like null set type of words.
It's like a pathology.
Yeah. So, we're going to start this session, and I'm going to do a similar thing I did last week, where like I'm having Roll20 up on a separate tab, but I'm not going to put it up on the screen because the map isn't going to go anywhere. So, we start with Bogroth, who, where we left off with him, he was just stepping through the remade mirror, helped by a Warforged of my world. And as he walks through, you couldn't quite see what was on the other side of the mirror this time. It was foggy and kind of, you know. But when you stepped through, the first thing that you knew was different was your foot had landed on a wooden floor, which you were coming from a kind of armory that was mostly a dirt floor, and the last place you were was a cave, in a way. So you kind of get thrown off a little bit, and then you take your surroundings. It's a small but quaint sort of room, like the room you would find in an inn.
Is there a bed?
Yeah.
I check and see if there's anything around the bed and the nightstand and anything like that.
Roll a perception.
Time to open my eyes, look out to the skies, and see. 16.
And D?
So you don't find anything like near the bed or anything. You look under it, you kind of like lift up the mattress and all that, but there's nothing that really, separates it from the norm. When you look in the bedside drawer that is next to the bed, you notice that the bottom of the drawer is kind of loose, and you realize it's a false bottom. And you also like briefly check out the closet, but there's no clothes in it, there's no boxes, it's pretty much empty.
I check out the false bottom and remove it.
After you lift it up, you see that there's a very, almost like a pamphlet type folded up piece of paper that when you unfold the trisections, there's like a very roughly sketched out map, almost as if like it'd been done by memory or something, to a location that you wouldn't really know how to get to, given how basic the map is. And there's no writing on it or anything.
It is a left.
Is there a door?
Yes, there's a door to the room.
Okay. I put the mat back in and cover it with the false floor, and then I go to the door and poke my head out to see if there's anything out there.
When you look out of the door, you see like a very short hallway with a decently designed carpet and several other doors lining both sides of the wall. And at the very end of the hallway is the kind of arch into stairs that go down.
Do I hear any noise?
Roll a perception. Yeah.
8.
You can hear the kind of clattering of dishes.
Quiet inn. almost too quiet. I push the door open and I go down and explore. Well, I go down the
So,
stairs.
yeah, you jump out the window. The stairs are kind of like those kinds of stairs that they go and then there's a platform and they go down another way. So you get down about halfway until you see kind of the bottom area. It's much like just a tavern of sorts. A couple tables pushed up against the wall, a bar, a stage that's currently empty. There are a few people seated like by themselves, a couple humans and some elves. Some of them alone, one or two of them together, that are all kind of like either nursing a drink or they're like picking at the last bits of their food. And at the bar, you see two dwarves, one working behind it and one sitting at the counter. And you couldn't really tell from like the brief glances around the room and the hall, but the windows outside the tavern, you can tell it's clearly dusk, like just the endings of sunset.
I go and lean at the bar, and I speak to the two dwarves. And I try to put on my nicest face possible, but you could see visibly that I'm slightly frustrated. I know this might come off as weird, but do you might know where I am? Where I am?
The dwarf that talks is a male dwarf. He's kind of just like cleaning a glass. He's like, well, you're in Colebrook. Did you wake up from a hangover or something?
Well, or something. It's the best thing to. It's the best way to describe it. Would it be odd if you figured out that would it be odd if I told you that I stepped into a mirror?
Well, I can't say I've not seen weirder. When you live around a bunch of wizards and mages, funny stuff like that happens a lot.
Smash cut to a day later, the dwarf is just like, so anyway, I started blasting, couldn't let him figure it out.
So, let's see. Have you heard of anybody else traveling through mirrors or possibly know any way out?
Well, that's the funny thing. Apparently, we was all hidden in mirrors. Or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the tale that I got. That apparently you guys are hidden in mirrors and now we are too. Well, I am too. But I need to get out.
Come on in, Georgie. We all reflect here.
Oh, no. We're not in the mirrors anymore. We got pushed back out.
Pushed back out by whom?
Everyone tells it a little different. Myself and my sister here, we were stuck in, what was it? It was like a great big lake. Just kind of paddling in the center of it. I'm not a very good swimmer, so I was very not happy about that. But then the water or something with a reflective back, I guess, showed up and we were upside down and then we fell out of the cauldron.
So something of the sea with a reflective back.
Or the water. Yeah, a lake.
Could you possibly referring to the vast?
Well, it could have been a bad dream. From what I've heard tales of the vast, it don't have a reflective back of any kind, but could have been my subconscious making up something. I'm not sure. Woke up with a hell of a headache.
Well, I've heard that maybe the gods have the power to at least travel through these sorts of things, so I I thought I'd ask. So what do you think's out there? I mean, have you been outside the inn?
Oh yeah, we all showed up like around this morning. We all walked around the town. Looks the same when we left it. The college is still unfortunately burnt, and that that Jaeger house also burnt. Other than that, it just kind of looked abandoned
The
until we
entire
showed up.
thing's burnt?
Well, half the school and a good portion of the Jaeger house, yeah.
Hmm. Alrighty then. Well, thanks for the info.
Oh, of course. Oh, my name is Zag, and my sister here is Tali. Um, if you showed up in the inn, you'd probably talk to her, because she's the bookkeeper. And you kind of look over to her. She looks very similar to her brother, almost as if they could be twins. And she nods. Yeah. I'll say that this one was free, I guess. Because all the confusion and stuff, I need to count the books again to make sure that we didn't lose anything.
Sure. Right. Uh, Thinking about it, Balgroth gets up, thanks the two, and then goes back upstairs to grab the map before he heads outside.
Okay. And with that, well, yeah, with that, we are going to switch to Yip Yap, who was last left planted in the middle of a swamp with bioluminescent bugs and plants, and having just talked to a giant snake of some kind who gave him something to do. Do you remember what that was? He was told by a creature that told Yip Yap its name was Salu. Yip Yap was told by Salu to head along the path towards a cabin, and that's where he would be able to get help getting out of the swamp.
Okay. Yip Yap's gonna kind of just pitter along, foraging some bioluminescent bugs.
So, before, like in the because the last session ended with you technically already on your way, you have the option of either taking a short or long rest, or no rest at all in this interim if you want. What would you like?
It's doing all right.
I never sleep.
So a no rest?
No rest. Yip's doing
Okay.
fine.
Yep.
I
so
never sleep.
You walk through the mud for a good bit, and you can tell that there is kind of a path, like a footpath that has been made, but the only thing that really differentiates it is that there's just less plants growing in this kind of line through the forest. And yeah, there's a lot of, little bugs and stuff that, you pick at and you bite. Every time you kind of chew on them, though, you notice that the bigger ones kind of stare at you for a little while, and you hear, like, beetles and moths, like, scuttle across the path or fly above you.
Yip's gonna sip his flask and start singing the Jolly Rouge in Kobold.
And while you're singing, you notice that there is, like, a music around you. There's a very melodious chirping that some distant creature or bug is emitting.
Is it matching or different?
It's kind of doing its own rhythm, but you notice it's there.
Yip Yap kind of just plays it cool.
Roll a perception, please.
Hmm?
Roll a perception, please.
Is Fox still with me?
Yes.
Can he?
Yes. So Fossil's digging in the mud.
Fossil, come back to him.
Every once in a while, you notice those like some vines that are very similar to the vines that wrapped around you and pulled you up into the trees and all that. They're a kind of oil slick kind of color where light is bouncing off of them, and they're moving in a way that there's no wind, and they're kind of moving in almost deliberate ways, like down the side of tree trunks and across the floor of the forest. None of them are actively reaching out for you, though. They're just seemingly like feelers or something.
Yep. Yip's gonna have a hand on a dagger. Just like, oh, follow me, lads. Thank you.
After a while of moving along, you come across a river, a very fast, wide river.
Is there any crossing area nearby?
Not that you can see.
Does it look like I can jump it?
No.
I stab the river. No.
Can you roll a survival?
No. A nat 1.
You're lucky I have it set up this way. So, the only thing you can see is the river. And the longer you stare at it, the more you realize it's not moving like water moves. It's moving... The closest thing you can approximate it to would be tar, as there are a few tar pits in the more deserty areas of Xanthan. It's rolling over itself and kind of shimmering under the bioluminescent lights.
Is there a rock nearby?
On the riverbed.
I pick it up and I toss it into...
It kind of hits it with like a sound, and it's moved, but it very quickly sinks.
So it takes a minute to sink?
Yeah, like you can see it move as it slowly goes into the liquid.
Do I extrapolate from that I could Jesus lizard across this?
Roll an insight.
Oh boy. Yeah, I'm actually trained in this. 18, that's pretty good.
Okay, so with an 18, you kind of get close to it and you examine it, and I would say you kind of realize that if you were to try running or moving across this, in the force of your running, you could easily get a foot just stuck in this.
Is there a tree on the other side?
There are many trees on the other side.
Okay. I should have rope. Yes. I give Fossil one end of my 50 foot of rope. And I tell him to fly across and wrap it around a tree. And I'm going to just pull myself across.
Okay. So roll an acrobatics check for Fossil to see how well he ties this around the tree. Because it's about 20 feet across, so you have plenty of rope.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. Fossil manages to take the... I would guess you would need a little bit of rope to tie on your side, so he takes at least 15 feet of rope and he ties it around the base of a tree. Unless you wanted it to be higher.
It's fine.
All right.
Yip's gonna tie it taut around himself, so worst case scenario, he can't get swept away. He's gonna start just into the water.
Roll either a survival or an athletics. Okay.
So, how's a nat 1 sound?
I was waiting for you to maybe say something else. But all right, if you want to take that.
What, do I have an option? I mean, I guess I do have inspiration.
Yeah. You want to use it?
Yeah. Oh, that's much better.
All right. So there's some bits where like it starts to feel like it's hardening around you, but with the way it keeps moving, that feeling quickly goes away and then comes back and kind of repeats until you're about halfway across the river. And you notice that a lot of bugs are starting to like climb over the tree that Fossil tied the rope around. And there's one that like there's one that's pretty big and it looks like it's glowing kind of a very bright red. And as it crawls over the tree, you see that the place it has stepped are slowly lighting on fire.
Uh-oh. As Yip Yap is in the current, has it brought him against the bank?
So there's not really a bank. There's no part of the ground that eases into this. It's all pressed up against the sides of like a ditch.
Oh, it's a sheer cliffing. Okay. Yip Yap's gonna try to get over to that and start using his blades to scale. Actually, wait, no, I have a shovel. I use that to help me. That and a dagger to like.
Roller survival or nature.
Or nature?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nature's -2. I'll go with survival. Natural 20.
Okay, so yeah, you start pulling yourself when you notice that this firebug is getting close to the rope. You start pulling yourself very frantically across the other half of the river, and then you climb up using the shovel. Yeah?
Yeah.
So you climb up and you kind of crawl your way onto it. And you've left like a lot of chunks into the ground with the shovel, but it's fine. And as you do so, as you get on like solid ground again, the beetle walks over the rope and it bursts into flames.
No, I cut off the bit that was around the tree. So how much is that?
You have, I'll say, 25 feet of rope.
Is that much wrapped around the tree?
I mean, if you didn't want it to be slack.
No, there'd be slack on Yip Yap's side.
Okay, I'll say, I mean, 25 is half of 50. I feel like that's fair.
But, like, Fossil would have only tied it once. He would have, like, wound it around 50 million times. Is it a big tree or a skinny tree?
It was a pretty big tree. These things are, like, I'm not going to say redwood because that's too thick, but, like, they're pretty sturdy.
25 feet of rope.
Okay.
It's thick, off-white in color, and made of 70% fat.
So after that debacle, we are going to switch to Isaiah now.
Oh dear.
And Isaiah, you have the option of taking a long rest, short rest, or no rest while you're in the library.
I will take a long rest.
All right. So, yeah, you found yourself in the library. You talked with the minor deity, Flogance. And then you found yourself a very comfy seating area that has a lot of couches and chairs that are quite plush. And you take a long rest, got all your spell slots and whatever HP you might have lost back.
Lovely.
When you wake up, you notice the room has changed a little bit. It's not pitch black, but it's a much, much dimmer than it was when you first laid down. Like, the lanterns have kind of... It looks like they're about to just go out. And there's, like, some lights that are coming from, like, behind bookshelves and such, but you presume it's mostly just more lanterns that are dimming down.
Gotcha. Well, as I recall, my option outside of like cutting some kind of deal with Zato is to go back the way I came, which I cannot do, or jump into the fog outside of the balcony.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm gonna do the leap of faith, and by that I mean I've prepared Featherfall as a spell.
Roll perception to try and
Oh.
find one of the balconies.
Oh, okay. Didn't know it was a hidden balcony.
You're not in an area with one that's visible.
That's
just
fair. That's fair. I was just messing around. I don't actually care. All right.
Oh, fine.
Dang. I'm blind. Can't
So
find it.
you walk around for a while, and you can't really seem to find the end of an aisle of books where a balcony could be. It all seems to end with another kind of layer of bookshelves or a wall.
This architecture seems to change every time I'm here.
If I can't find an exit, I'll make one instead.
Fireball! No,
No, the Library of Alexandria. Not again.
No!
If I can't read this book, no one can read this book. All right. Let's see. Can I send? Actually, where's my crow right now? Is he with me? Is he elsewhere?
He could be with you.
I guess he can be with me. All right, then I want to send him to fly. Can he fly above the bookshelves, or do they go up ad infinitum?
They go up to the ceiling of whatever level you're on.
Rat. All right, I'm going to. Okay, so this is like a maze.
More or less.
Let me see if I mean, I really could just burn all this down. That would be quite interesting.
Try.
I mean, I don't expect it to go well for me necessarily.
Do you think it would be as easy as just lighting some stuff on fire?
No, but I'm curious. All right. Can I, if I pull out a book, is there a back to the bookshelf, or could I, see through it?
You can see through it.
All right, then as I walk through, I'm going to start, pushing books through, so there's, a hole I can look through, passably, several rows along. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so you do that for a little bit, and at one point you look back to see how many you've knocked over, and you see that Flogants are slowly putting the books back up on the shelf.
You creatures are insufferable.
It's their job, man.
And I say as I slowly off and on a firebolt on my finger. All right. Yeah, I guess the crow and I'll just start splitting up and trying to find where to go.
All right, gang, let's split up and look for clues.
Roll a survival.
Oh dear. For both of us, or me, or what?
You can do for both.
All right, we'll just do it like this then. I survived.
So, you managed to find another sitting area that's a lot more open. There's not as many chairs, but there's a grand fireplace that's not currently lit. A lot of the tables have kind of books strewn across them, and opening up this specific seating area is a large railinged balcony that overlooks part of the library.
I'd like to set the fireplace ablaze with a nice little firebolt.
It doesn't work.
I shoot the chair.
It goes up into flames in a second and then immediately diminishes and it looks the same.
Oh. All right. I'm going to go to this balcony and just stand on it with my arms folded, looking inwards towards the library.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to have my crow just come over and give me a little boop. And I'm going to fall backwards into the abyss.
Okay. So you see all the levels of the like expanding library, and you as you're falling and you can see like either side of this kind of ravine, it goes on.
Oh dear.
And then you fall through the fog and you can't see through it all. It's too misty, and like you can hear like the flaps of wings around you, and you see like figures in shadow like quickly darting from side to side all around you. Until you said you had feather fall, right?
I do. I will activate it.
So that kind of slows your descent, and as you break through the bottom part of the fog, the very top level of this layer is still library. But there are 3 levels below it that seem to be filled with more just empty levels. Like rooms that you can't see the end of, just stretching on and on and on, with no walls or furniture or anything. And you look down and see another layer of fog. And what does feather falling do? How much does it slow you down?
Let me see what leverages. It slows me to 60 feet per round.
So it's 60 feet a second.
Well, per 6 seconds. So 10 feet a second. Yeah.
You get close to the bottom layer of the fog, and a big, black, shadowy figure kind of moves up from it, and you unfortunately land on it as it breaches the fog. And it starts flying up towards the ceiling level of fog.
So am I still on it while it's flying up?
Yeah, it's like not completely diagonal.
I would like to point my finger at it and shoot off a firebolt. There's no way this could go wrong.
Roll to hit.
Where the heck?
So you hit the back of this dark-colored bird, and it erupts and then kind of just gets covered by whatever the skin of this thing is.
Ugh. Can I try to jump off it?
Yeah.
I want to jump off.
Okay. As you jump off, it kind of like looks down at you, and it looks like a Flogant, but it doesn't seem like the Flogant. It just seems like a big one. And it has like a big basket of books that it's holding with its claws as it flies up.
Stay out of my way!
And then you break through the ground level of fog. And that's much shorter a time where you can't see anything until you fall on a cushioned couch.
Okay. Where am I now?
Roll a perception.
Oh my gosh. If I am back in the same room.
It's like that one Squidward thing.
Alone in a room.
So, it doesn't look like the sitting rooms you've seen in the library. It looks like you're in someone's living room. And there's a fireplace, and it's lit. It's much smaller and more kind of belongs in a cottage kind of vibe. And you're on this big fluffy sofa that like it looks like it was made more for a large size humanoid rather than a medium. And across you can see 2 windows on either side of the fireplace. You can see like a meadow outside, and there's a kitchen off to the left of you. You can't hear any like sound of like life though.
Well, can I send my familiar out to investigate?
Out of the house?
Like just around the house to see like what's in there.
Okay, roll a perception for your crew.
All right. I'll just do perception here.
So your crow flies around, and it's a basic layered kind of house. You have the living room connects to the kitchen, and then right across from that is a bedroom with the door closed. There's no upstairs. There's no like closets or anything that you can tell. There's a few doors, but they're also closed.
I guess I'll try to leave. Actually, no, shout out. Hello, is anyone here?
You don't hear a response in return.
I'm gonna go upstairs and check the doors.
I said there was no upstairs.
Wait, or where the doors are?
They're just, yeah. So
They're just in the hallway. Okay, I see. Okay.
So you try the doors, and the first two are locked, but then the third one is unlocked, and inside is just like fabric, towels, some miscellaneous things.
Interesting. Well, yeah, I guess I'll close the door and just leave the house.
When you go to try the front door,
Do I sense it? Oh no, it's locked.
Yeah.
Are there windows?
Yeah.
Can I open a window?
No.
Let me just pull up my spell page.
Do you want to become an intruder or an outtruder? You want to go
Yeah, right.
to the window.
Oh dear. All right. I could try to use knock on this sucker, but I feel like there's some terrible, terrible reason not to. You know what? Why not? I try to knock the sucker open.
Knock, knock, who's there? Deaf, deaf who? Deaf you. What?
Sudden explosion.
And it turns into a jar. She's currently Googling what happens when you set off 500 pounds of TNT.
So you open the door,
Boom.
and it immediately dawns on you that the outside is not what you saw through the windows. The outside...
Oh no.
The house seems to be on a floating piece of rock, and all around you is darkness broken up by more pieces of rock. And right above you is the only source of light in this kind of space is just a very, very bright, big sun.
Darkness within darkness awaits.
Roll a wisdom save at disadvantage.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Can you roll a D100 for me? So what you see outside, you see this darkness, this kind of space where there's no stars except the very huge close one above you is broken up by pieces of rock. There are things moving in the darkness outside of your vision. And you cannot fully make them out. But you catch a glance of one that's just in the kind of radius of the light. And a glimpse of this creature sends you spiraling as you fall back onto the floor inside your own head. And something breaks inside of you a little bit. You have a level of exhaustion.
Oh dear.
And now you are, well, I'd say you're prone at least. You're not unconscious, but you're prone, and you're struck with this. The only thing in your mind right now is you very immediately and strongly recognizing that your existence, at least in this plane, means nothing to the creatures that are outside the light and could easily come over and eat you or mutilate you in some way. Because when you look out and you catch a glimpse of that creature, the first thing you feel is fear. It's not a fear of death. It's a fear of ever seeing that thing again, no matter how close or far it is. Because the sight of it, you feel, is worse than any death you could physically endure.
I hate it. I'm going back inside. I'm gonna just crawl back in there.
He just makes a sketch and posts it to a bulletin that says "Ye olde / thanks I hate it."
Yes.
This
And
is
you have
fine.
madness.
What'd you say?
I said you have madness.
Okay. What does that mean?
It means that D100 you rolled gave me something that is going to affect your character permanently. In a mental sense.
Should have used advantage. Or inspiration. Oh well. All right.
Should have thought of that before you left.
When you close the door again and you look up, there is something in the house now. And it is a very large, kind of ashy colored fox with brown face markings that go like over its eyes and down its muzzle. And it's just kind of staring at you as it's kind of sat in that walkway between the wall and the couch.
Hello.
It kind of blinks at you and then lowers itself down to laying. And as it lays out, you notice that its sides move in an odd way. And you look closer and realize that there are owl wings on the side of this creature. And it just kind of watches you.
Can you understand me?
It nods its head.
Can you speak?
Shakes its head.
Do you live here?
It nods.
Do you know how I can leave here?
It takes a second, and then it nods.
Can you show me?
It stands itself up, and while it's standing, the top of its head kind of brushes the ceiling. And it walks over to sit in front of the fireplace and then looks back at you.
I sort of walk over and then say, do you know what those things outside are?
It kind of looks at you, and in its eyes, you can definitely tell by its eyes it is a very intelligent creature. It is not just an animal. And you see fear in its eyes.
I suppose now I have to multi-class into Great Old One or Warlock. Should I start this fire?
It shakes its head and looks back at the fire. And as it looks back, its eyes kind of turn this molten gold sort of color as it spreads its wings out. And as it starts to like stretch out its wings and curve them, a fire erupts in the hearth. And it's almost reaching to the height of the ceiling as well. But you don't feel its heat. And it's like almost touching you as it grows larger. And its wings move forward. And as it does, you realize underneath its wings, it has large bags that are holding a couple of books. And there is one like package that's been wrapped up in paper sitting in the bag as well. And its wings reach forward and they start to peel apart the fire like curtains. And on the other side through this fire, you see what you saw originally outside the window. It's a clearing of meadow. And after it's been opened, the fox folds its wings again and starts to step through. And its paws land on the grass as it walks through.
I will follow it.
As you follow it, it kind of sits, and you kind of stumble through it because there's a harsh kind of step between the like wood and ash and stone of the fireplace into the like soft grass. And you turn back to look as you see the portal that's been opened into the house. But it starts to close and like curl in on itself until all you see is more trees.
Well, I sort of turn to the fox and say, "Thank you, friend. I- is there something that I should know to call you?"
It tilts its head, and then after a second, it kind of reaches under its wing to grab that package that was wrapped, and it holds it out to you. And it can fit easily inside of your hands. Like it's about 2 feet long and cylindrical. The packaging.
Which is his way of saying his name is Robathy.
Is this for me?
It nods its head.
I politely open it.
Inside is a glass bottle where there's typically a label for these kinds of things. There is a piece of parchment paper, very aged, and you can tell that something's been written on it.
What's written on it?
So, as you read it, it says, "I did some digging, and I figured what might have brought you here, under Z's gaze. Someone is unlocking old temples and altars that allow the realms to bleed into each other. I can't see who exactly is doing this, and only 2 things can deflect my sight: the dead and Zito himself." And then it's signed with a F.
Still?
This wasn't written to me, was it?
Yeah, it doesn't say to Isaiah or anything, but the fox kind of watches you read it, and by the time you're finished reading and you look up again, the fox is gone.
Oh my. Can you reread the thing for me?
Yeah, I can reread it. I could also send it to you.
That's fine, yeah.
I'll just send it to you.
Well, I suppose I'd better start off.
So, as you kind of pick a way to go while you're turning around trying to figure out a path, over the top of some low trees, you see the tops of your, or at least part of the roof of your school.
I suppose I'll walk that way.
And with that, we are going to go on break.
And then there were 3.
So, yeah, we are just going to pop back in with Yip Yap.
Yip Yap's eyes refocus.
It's covered in bugs.
I feel like that would be like if this was an animated thing, that'd just be a very common like opening shot for a Yip Yap scene. Is just his eyes defocused and then they refocus.
And he's covered in bugs. So yeah, you have just passed over the river, and you see that the path continues to go on for a little while longer.
I follow it.
After a while of following the path, you realize that chirping that you heard earlier is gone, and there are a lot less bugs and things in this part, on this side of the river.
I hold Fossil close and I go, "If something calls our names, no it didn't." And I keep on walking.
Something calls your actual name.
Who's Steven?
The plants and things, which were once kind of a rustish kind of red mixed with gray colors, have now turned into like kind of crystalline plants in a way. They still bend and like move as regular leaves or blades of grass, but they're shiny, as if they've been like coated with some kind of metallic paint.
Yip Yap takes a long drag from his flask.
Roll a perception.
Oh boy. Oof. Can I just let Fossil roll for me?
You can both roll.
Okay. What I should do is I should give him the help action, so that he has advantage.
You feel you have been around a good bit. You've had to hide and sneak a lot. You've gained this sense sometimes where you can feel someone watching you. And right now you have that feeling.
Yep, stops. Solo? Is that you?
You don't hear a response.
No. Isaiah? Balgraf? Connor? Oh, wait, no, he's dead.
The feeling gets more intense. And then you feel something kind of brush behind you.
Mm.
But before you can turn around, you hear the voice first. And the voice is something that echoes in your head like a soothing static that happens right before you pass out. Hello.
Hi.
Do you turn around to look at it? As you turn to look at it, the first thing you notice is it has a very humanoid shape. It's built very skinny and humanly, and it has a nice pressed and pretty well cleaned suit that it's wearing, with a cane off to his side. But as you look up, his neck disconnects, and above the stump of the neck, there is something like a floating two-dimensional scratching of ink that resembles someone botching a drawing. And it's just kind of like moving around as he stands there.
What are you?
And it has no facial features, obviously. But you can tell that it's smiling at you.
Oh.
Or smirking. Well, my name is Janice. What are you?
I'm a kobold!
Ew.
Oh.
How'd you get here?
I stepped in a mirror, and a fake version of my dead god taunted me, and then I wound up in the mud, and then a vine pulled me up, and a snake scolded me, and I crossed a river of non-Newtonian fluid. Ow, ow, my brain! Ow! Oh no! Of weird water, and now I'm here. Why are you here?
I live here.
Oh. Do you live in a cabin? I'm looking for a cabin.
Oh, no.
Oh.
I live in an actual house that won't get destroyed when the next storm comes through.
Yeah, that's what caves are for.
It's dirty.
Hey, it's not my fault it's muddy around here.
So you're trying to get out. Well, I can help you get out.
Well, I was told to find a cabin.
Oh, she can't help you. I can help you.
Insight check.
All right, insight check. You can tell he would be smiling still. And he kind of like leans forward on his cane, which has like, it has a silver topper that's kind of in the shape of a mushroom. She would ask for a price. I don't.
Yep, blinks one eye at a time. Who's she?
Well, she, he, they, it, whatever it likes to go by. Svelda.
Does that name ring a bell to Yip Yap? It sounds familiar.
I don't know if Yip Yap has ever heard it at him, but there's been enough conversation with Isaiah and Balgroth with NPCs. You might have caught the name once or twice. But it doesn't mean anything to you.
Well, I do like things that are free.
Attaboy. Now, You crossed a river, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, let's go back to that river then. And he puts his hand on the back, which it's like a gloved hand, puts on the back of Yip Yap's head and starts pushing him back towards the river. Come now. And he stops at the edge of the river and kind of like holds the nape of Yip Yap's neck as he stands next to it. You go in there.
What?
You go in there.
I don't understand.
That's how you get home.
What does that mean?
It means you sink. You go home. Do you want to talk to the dead lady? He kind of says in a mocking tone.
What? I'm new here.
If you don't want to go this way, you have to talk to the dead lady.
She's dead. It would be a one-sided conversation.
Oh, she's not much of a talker, but I don't like her still. Do you want to try my way?
I want to go home.
Okay. And he pushes Yip Yap into the river. Hold your breath as you sink. And it doesn't feel like water. It feels like the tar. Now, you've seen goblins and kobolds and things alike get stuck in the tar on Xanthan, and they're not able to get out, and slowly they just die. You're sinking. Kind of quickly. And for a few, like, frantic moments of flailing from Yip Yap, you eventually get pushed out, like, through the current. You get pushed out, and you get another face full of mud.
Bro.
As you look up, you see a well-defined footpath. It's dark out.
Wow, that's a well-defined footpath.
It's dark out, but you can still tell some buildings are familiar. And you can tell that you are currently in the center of Colebrook.
Okay. Yip's gonna fossil here.
Yep.
We are filthy. Oh. Is there a well in town?
Nope.
I guess we go back to the inn that we were in.
As you do, you end up crossing paths with Isaiah, who is kind of stumbling out of the forest line into town.
Isaiah! Yip runs up and hugs his shin.
Oh, hello, Yip Yap. Ugh. Where,
Just full covered in mud that he has now slopped onto your pant leg.
where were you? What happened?
I was in like a swamp, and then I was up in the trees, and there was a snake, and told me not to disturb the vines and the babies, and sent me to a river of non-Newtonian. Ow! My head hurts. Ow! Weird water, and then I got out of it, but then I was sent right back to it by a creepy forest man with an ink face and a fancy suit, because there was a dead lady.
I see.
Forest man.
Interesting.
I want to go home.
Well, all right. I'm glad you're okay.
I'm
You know
not
what
okay. I'm
Balgruff is.
traumatized.
Right. Yeah.
Where's Balgruff?
I have no idea. I haven't seen him. Ugh. Well, shall we
covered
go
in
back
mud
and check
now.
that room again?
What? No. I need to sleep. It's been a long day.
How
I
does
wanna
he
go-
look as I'm looking at him?
I have no eyes.
He looks kind of like not too out of it. He still looks put together, but maybe a bit more frayed at the edges.
I mean, yeah, look at you. We both need to sleep. We should sleep. Sleep is good.
But we can't let Balgroth just float in the ether or whatever's going on with him.
Oh, he can take care of himself. He's probably killed a god by now or something.
Perhaps. How does Yip Yap look to me?
He's covered in mud.
Okay, other than like
He doesn't look.
any magic on him?
There is the dimming of evocation magic.
He would look generally disheveled, like he's been out all day, like needs a shower, needs a good night's sleep.
He's also a bit bloody.
Oh?
Why are you bloody?
Like just a little bit, like just I got a scratch on my arm, kind of bloody.
Yeah? Oh, I don't remember. Where am I bleeding?
Like your bicep.
I didn't get that hungry.
Jesus.
Actually, had some delicious bugs.
Well, perhaps. You know what? I'm going to go to the room where we went before.
So you're gonna go back to the school and find the room again?
Yes. Yip Yap, I need to go find that room again. You're welcome to join me or not.
Yip Yap saunters off in the direction of the inn.
All right. So, Isaiah, you head back to the castle, or not castle, the school that looks like a castle. They tried making it look like a castle.
Cool, a castle school.
And as you get close to it, you're stopped by a Limrius in kind of like a common guard, like leather outfit. And she kind of like holds her hand out. It's like, oh, hey. No one's allowed in the site right now.
What? Where were you the last several days?
Probably the place where you were, in those wacky mirrors or whatever.
Those silly, goofy, reflective
Okay.
surfaces.
Pause for a moment. Cease, please. First, when you say you know I was in the mirrors, is it because you saw me there or you were just let out?
Well, we weren't just let out. We all kind of came to this morning, but that's just my best guess, given that almost everyone else in town came from mirrors.
Interesting.
I don't understand it either, man.
There
All I
was a
know
room
is-
There was a room in that school that had illusory mirrors. And sadly, it sucked my friends and I into somewhere. And apparently, around that time, you all were freed as well.
I don't know what room you could be talking about. All I remember is knocking out. I woke up somewhere weird. And then after a while, I got kicked out by some weird horse thing. And I woke up on the floor of my kitchen. And then someone, those little what are they called? Float ants. Those things came around. And they had like, I don't know, little pieces of glass, like a broken mirror or something. They gave one to everyone in town. I'm just trying to draw some kind of conclusion.
No messages.
I see. Well, I am going to investigate the room that seemingly freed you all again, because last time I was unceremoniously spirited away.
Well, I can't just let you on the site, and I don't even know what room you're talking about. I don't remember.
On whose authority are you not letting me in?
On the Duke's authority.
Are you with the changelings or something?
The
The
Dukes?
what?
Do you not know why you were in that mirror land?
No. All I remember is getting knocked out. If a
Most of the villagers
changeling-
are placed with changelings.
Come on, Dale. The Duke's just some good old boys. Never meaning no harm.
So let me check my notes to see if the Duke is legit or not.
As you're from the town, you know she is referencing the Duke. I think I mentioned.
No, the
this
Duke
to
was
you.
replaced first.
He was replaced with a changeling, but you also know who the Duke of the town is.
Right. No. When I say legit, I mean like, is he a real person?
Right.
Given that the Duke was the first person replaced by changelings, let me pass.
Buddy, look, what are you? You used to go to the school? Are you a wizard or something?
You people are
What?
insufferable.
I'm just trying to do my job.
No, not what I meant to do. Where did it go?
Mind Sliver, let me in.
No, not much. We're not gonna mind slither him.
I've invented a worse spell than cancer. Oh yeah, what? Or no, Mind Sliver. I botched my joke.
You said cancer. Do you mean to say that?
I meant to say that backwards. I meant to say I invented a worse spell than Mind Sliver. Oh yeah, show me. Cancer.
Gosh. In any case, I'm just going to go invisible and walk past this fool.
She kind of like takes a pole arm off her back and swings it around until she hits you on the side.
Okay, I'm not like walking directly next to this person.
Oh, it's a 10-foot pole arm.
Oh my. I can see that. I'm going to stay out of range.
All right. She's going to try and then just say, look, I don't know what room you're talking about. If you want to go digging in some broken rubble, I guess you're welcome to. But I have to at least come with you so you don't steal anything.
I'm just going to walk where I need to go.
She kind of just sighs and stands back at attention. And yeah, you walk into the school. You follow the path that led you there the first time through the broken down bits of the library. You weren't here for that, but that's what they did. And you get to the same kind of false wall that you had gone through before, but it is closed again.
Can I try to open it?
When you go to put your hands to it, your fingerprints and like palm prints, they glow a soft kind of green and then curl up like drifts of smoke to form the... Can you read Elven?
Let me check to see my... If not, I think I have comprehend languages, but I do speak Elven.
In Elvish, it says empty.
Speak, friend, and enter. What is Dwarvish for friend?
Empty. Is it not opening? And now, is this how the riddle appeared last time, or no?
No, the riddle was an actual riddle before. It was a whole question. This is just the single word empty.
I guess I'll have to cast Knock to open it.
It doesn't work.
No! I burned the school down again. No, let's see.
It was you all along.
Do I sense any magic about?
Other than the kind of soft glow of the magic on the door, no.
So how did we get the door open last time?
You answered the riddle.
But there is no riddle now?
Nope.
Can I say empty in Elvish?
You can. Doesn't do anything.
I say something less else in Elfish. Hmm. I guess I'll walk back out before my invisibility comes down.
Okay. You walk back out, past the guard, more into
I'm going to
town.
become visible directly in front of her.
Mm-hmm.
Hey. There's some issue with the room, and I kind of give her vague, general directions to it.
I don't want to leave my post.
I'm not asking you to leave your post, all right? I don't care about this fake message from the possibly fake Duke. Just be aware anyone you talk to could be a changeling. Maybe even you. I don't know if I can trust you, but I haven't given you anything a changeling wouldn't already know. So goodbye.
She kind of does a half salute and just sighs.
Is he going to the tavern?
Yeah, I'll go to the tavern.
Alright, so yeah, you see Yip Yap, shit-faced.
Are you coming? Who else? Is there anyone else in the tavern? Is there like a group of people at a table?
No, there's like 2 elves at separate tables.
Yip Yap is talking to the elves, and he's just spinning a story, and he's like, so there I was, in the middle of Retcher, with my friends cowering as the werewolf was approaching. And they were scared. They went, Yip Yap, Yip. And I went, fear not, my friends. And I pulled out my coin purse, and I rocked up to that werewolf, and I knocked him down, and I poured the whole thing down his throat, and I killed him. I watched the light fade from his wolfy eyes, and then I cut open his stomach and got the gold back.
So the one elf, because they're like on separate sides of the tavern, I'm just going to say you're talking to this elf. He's just kind of like watching with this very amused expression. He looks like a young man as an elf. And he has like long curled kind of silver hair that's put up in a ponytail, very sharp blue eyes and like purple skin. And he's just kind of like watching with a smile. But he hears, as you end that story, Isaiah enters to see you standing on this table in front of this elf who he recognizes. And Isaiah, you recognize this elf to be Megoria, who has been the like main guard of the city since you were a child.
Isaiah! Yip Yap falls off the table and face plants.
Young Isaiah,
You are in town.
hello, Megoria. Yes, that silence spell. Yes, I am back in town, and I see that you have returned as well.
Yes, that whole business at the college. We've only recently found out what that whole debacle could have been, and only the teachers are really talking about it. Not much of the common citizens here know. We're trying to figure out a way to break it to them gently that we all kind of got pushed into mirrors.
Right back.
So, did the mirrors happen before or after the attack on the school?
You're talking about like right before you left? The fire?
Yeah, yes.
Well, the fire happened and we got to work rebuilding. After a while, this new guy came into town. And you know, we're always welcome to visitors. He acted kind of weird though. And then I remember one of my soldiers acting kind of weird, and more of them. Next thing I knew, I had a basic mutiny on my hands, I guess. Every guard in the city turned against me and the Duke and the Miro out of nowhere, and they dragged us to that odd room in the school and pushed us into mirrors.
Yes, well, the population was slowly replaced with changelings.
Changelings, that's what they were.
Yes. You know, they spin quite the sad tale about how no one accepts them, but they earn every bit of that reputation, so, you know.
It definitely seems like it.
Well, who was the person that Can you describe the strange person that came to the village?
Oh, he was some old, gangly-looking fellow. Had on these weird robes I'd never seen before in any kind of church or temple around here. He didn't talk much either. He just asked for a room and stayed for a couple days. After he left, that's when my guard started acting strange.
Interesting. Does that sound like the guy that was at the test of strength that Balgroth did? The fair or parade we were at a while ago?
No, the man there, he was old. I mean, you could assume it could be the same guy, given with that base description.
Okay. Interesting. Well, do you know where that gentleman is now?
No, he left town, and then, unless he went to some other town, I haven't heard a word. When did you get to town?
What was that, like 2-3 days ago?
Would have been like yesterday.
Yesterday.
Oh, jeez. We have to figure out how long we were gone.
Yes, let's see. How long did they say? Yeah, it's been, well, different people have been away for different amounts of time. I believe the Duke was the first person they replaced, and they went from there.
Oh, I think. Yeah, I mean, I saw them throw the Duke into the mirror. I think it was my guard. Oh, your little lizard's talking again. Is this your friend?
Yes.
He's the guy who taught me magic.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far. I take no responsibility.
He shoots off one Yip Yap's magic missile that I want to just auto fail and have it come back and hit Yip Yap in the side of the face.
Why did you teach a lizard how to use magic?
I did not teach him how to use magic. I didn't realize he was going to attempt the random things I told him that do not constitute a proper education.
He showed me amazing things. Like this guy,
Fasto pokes out from under his hood.
I summoned him, and he's my friend. And he's gonna grow up to maybe replace my dead god.
He literally found that in the trash.
That's a liar, you know it. You're a liar. You're a liar.
He has a spell that sends messages. It's just 2 tin cans strung together.
Liar, liar, pants on.
You know, he had a true sight spell, and it was just throwing flour in the air.
I like that he's trying to fire at you, but like the moisture in his mouth is keeping it from igniting properly.
The alcohol is not letting the fire ignite?
It's damp. The wick is damp. The candle won't light.
Uh-huh.
A little projectile dysfunction there. Alcohol's been known to do that.
I would advise not just sharing magic with everything. I honestly didn't think kobolds were intelligent enough to handle spells.
Hey, we're very intelligent things.
I once dissected a kobold for class.
I once dissected a goblin. Oh, I didn't even tell you about the goblins. I was so busy telling you about my adventures with my friend.
Isaiah, please take your friend away. It's like a yapping dog.
Yip Yap, I think it's probably time for bed.
Oh, one more round. What do you say? You haven't had anything to drink. Come on, I'll buy you a drink. Let me buy you a drink. What do you want? You want a cocktail?
A what? No, Yip Yap, it's time for bed. You're making up words.
No,
Again.
that's like there was this. We had a guy, and he did
It's called
this thing.
plumage. It's called plumage. A rooster's plumage. Yip Yap.
He'd mix a heavy alcohol with goblin blood, and it was called it a margarita. Come on, try it. You'll love it. Trust me, you'll love it. It's great.
Bedtime.
You're just being a prude.
What are you
Teetotaler?
trying to do with me, Yip Yap, with this drink? That being prudish would come into the equation.
Teetotaler? I don't know words. I barely know what it means to be alive.
Yip Yap, you know you've been dead several times.
And yet I've still managed to have quadruple the amount of existential crises. Ow, my brain!
Have you ever considered that perhaps you're really dead?
In a cosmic sort of way.
Maybe that's why the sun didn't go out. Either that or because I fixed it, whichever you prefer to believe. In any case, let's get you upstairs before, well, let's get you upstairs.
I think you need a drink.
I don't believe the first half of that statement.
You need a drink.
No.
Yeah. Oh, come on. What's the worst that could happen?
Death.
You think... Are you allergic to alcohol?
No. But I need a sharp mind tonight.
Alcohol gives me a sharp mind. I can't think straight when I'm sober.
I believe you can't think straight when you're sober, Yip Yap. I have no quarrel with that claim. Nonetheless, I'd like to pick him up with a mage hand and just carry him up to a bed
Okay.
and tuck him in.
I'll do a little wraparound. A little kobold wraparound. Oh, shoot. I spilled in my hand for real. That's what I get for using not a necked bottle.
Oh dear. Yeah, I think I'll put him to bed. Let's see, do I need anything else today? Whatever happened to our friend Cortez?
He's still in the wagon, as far as you know.
All right, I'm gonna go make sure he and Sylvester are okay, as well as
He's
my
been
egg.
replaced with a changeling.
Sylvester?
My octopus.
Oh.
He has a name. Oh, and your egg. Is your egg okay? Is he safe?
So you go to the wagon, and you see Cortez has been put in this like hammock thing swinging from the top. Your octopus is in a tank, like bubbling very softly as if it's asleep, and the egg looks like an egg.
All right, I'm gonna quickly shoot the egg with some ray of frost, and then I want to try something with Cortez.
All right.
Cortez, you can see, correct?
In a cosmic sort of way.
Like you know where things are around you physically?
Yeah.
All right, I want to try something, and I'm going to touch him, and I'm going to cast this spell on him.
Yeah, consent, please.
He starts like floating up until he bumps the top of the wagon. Oh, that's cool.
Try moving around with it.
He kind of like rocks back and forth until he like does a square until he's back up at the ceiling. Oh.
Hmm.
Oh, you cast levitate on him?
Fly.
Fly? Oh.
So I like what's this for, man?
I just wanted to see what level of control you would have, and thinking of different mechanisms of giving you a bit more autonomy.
He's just kind of like moving back and forth now.
Yes, you see, if I were able to get you to fly permanently and perhaps cast some sort of dragon's breath spell, you could be a flame-spewing fiery skull.
Oh, that would be so sick, dude.
I agree. So I just need to fine-tune a few things, perhaps figure out a way to store and maintain some magic, and this could be quite interesting.
Diabolic and serpentine.
Serpentine. If you were to be broken, would you cease to exist, or would you just be alive in two halves?
Oh, I don't
Or
know
undead in two
about
halves?
that. I don't
All
know
right,
the answer
then.
to that, and I don't want to risk it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's very fair. I am going to sort of mage hand him back onto the hammock and turn off the spell as it nears its end. I wouldn't want you to fall suddenly. Interesting.
Well, that's
All
good.
right. Yes, well,
Where have you
hopefully we'll
been,
do
man?
it again.
It's been like 2 days.
Yes, I was spirited away to a library from hell and then exposed to some eldritch abominations into a void of evil and darkness. I escaped with some of my sanity intact, with the help of a large silver fox with owl's wing that gave me a message on a bottle.
Oh, yo, a bottle? That sounds sick, dude. What's in it?
It's empty though. It is empty, right?
No, it was not empty.
Oh, what's in it?
A liquid.
You know, I don't know. Let me take a look. Like to pop it open.
Hey, no, check your messages real quick.
How's it smell?
It doesn't smell like anything. Looks like
Vodka,
water.
perhaps. I'd like to take a little taste.
It tastes like a very delicious soup.
I don't know what it is, but it's quite delicious. Tastes like a very delicious soup.
Oh, yo, can I have some?
Sure. I pour a little bit into his mouth.
It immediately just drips to the floor. That's good, dude.
Glad you like it. Yes, I'll have to study this further.
Oh, it's nice to see you again. Are we gonna be heading out soon? I'm getting sore just sitting here all day.
Don't you sit no matter what you do?
Listen, man. Some kind of movement is necessary.
Am I being watched right now?
Roll a survival.
The bone gets bed sores.
My crow is always looking out for me. Saravi, you said?
Yeah. Would that be the 9 or the 21?
The 21.
Okay. You need to turn that off, dude. I can't read that ever.
Well, I turned it. No, because I do have advantage on this because I have help from the crow.
Right.
But you seem to always have advantage on, though.
I do.
Because he always has this crew.
Yeah, like I don't always put it on, but yeah, when I have advantage, I give it to myself.
So yeah. You don't feel like you're being watched outside of Cortez looking at you.
Mm-hmm.
Your octopus looking at you. You don't feel like anything outside of the wagon is watching you.
Okay.
Oh, what?
Did you see my message?
Did you send something to me? Oh.
That's what I was saying.
Oh.
I was trying to tell you to read the message.
Sorry. I didn't even see that notification. I had my phone on for a second. That was weird. Yeah, you feel like something's watching you from outside the wagon.
Whoever's out there, reveal yourself now or I'll start throwing fireballs.
You hear kind of a strange purring noise from one of the windows of the wagon. And when you look, Fossil is just kind of perched there watching you with his eyes that kind of color that you from your magic abilities know is what happens when a wizard is looking through and controlling their familiar.
Please check the rolling area.
No. Oh.
What?
I will let you decide if this is conducted through the familiar, or and you feel it, or the familiar feels it.
Can Yip Yap cast shield? Does Yip Yap have shield?
Well, are you casting it on yourself or the pseudo dragon?
Well, that's the thing, is like your familiar can cast touch. He doesn't have shield.
But shield would not help against this.
Steven, roll a d4. Yip Yap takes the damage.
Okay. All right, make an
Pseudo
intelligence
dragon's eyes
save.
return. The pseudo dragon's eyes return to normal, and it's still just sitting there purring and watching you.
I appreciate that you're like, I'm not even gonna roll to make the save because we know how it's gonna go. I recognize it to be Fossil after having cast it. Oh. Oh, he was watching me. This is the perfect mix. I look at Cortez and Sylvester. This is the typical Yip Yap mix of utter immaturity with like the slimmest spread of sneakiness thrown on top.
The pseudo dragon,
Possible.
the pseudo dragon bleps at you.
Go back to your master.
It jumps off backwards, flaps uprights, and flies off into the night.
I then cast Fireball in the tavern. No. Oh. Ooh, yeah, no. I guess, yeah. Cortez, I hope that we can leave tomorrow.
Yeah, me too, man.
All right. Would you like to come inside, by the way? You don't have to stay down here.
Oh, no, it's peaceful out here. The crickets are cool.
Alrighty. Well, if anything happens, just let me know. Have a good night.
I'll try screaming as loud as I can.
Excellent. I'm going to bed.
All right. With that, we are going to end the session for tonight. And I will tell you two what I texted to Jeremiah right before he left. You all level up.
Woo!
And I will see you all next week. Goodbye.
Drinking is a valid experience.